What is happening, guys and girls? I'm Suki and I'm back with another video on Super Duper Tech. Now in today's video I will be reviewing the brand new released 12-inch Retina MacBook by Apple. Now if you could just take 2 seconds out of your time just to hit the like button or maybe subscribe at the end, be greatly appreciated. Without any further ado, let's hit the titles. Now, just like last year's Retina MacBook, the 2016 MacBook does come rocking Intel's Core M processors. The only difference being they're now running the Skylake architecture, which does improve the efficiency as well as improving the performance and graphics capabilities. Now I also went out and tested the Geekbench performance on both the 32-bit and 64-bit architecture. Now these results showed around a 18% increase in performance when compared to last year's model. Next up, I tested with NovaBench. Now NovaBench is very similar to the likes of Geekbench in the fact that it tests a variety of different aspects of the machine and then compiles and gives us a score based on these readings. Now last year's MacBook gave us an output of around 500. Now this year we're getting around 519. Now the final test that I did conduct was based solely around the speed of the flash storage. Now the write speeds when compared to last year's model were for some reason oddly a little slow. Last year we were getting around 460, now we're hitting around 400 megabytes per second. Now the read speeds have been improved by around 100 megabytes per second. Now as you can see the difference in the results when comparing it to my late 2015 iMac with 5K Retina display. Now naturally, as I record and edit in 4K, I decided to try and render out the unboxing video for this MacBook in 4K. Now I decided to do it on both the MacBook with 12-inch Retina display as well as my late 2015 iMac with 5K Retina display. Now the iMac with Retina display does have 32GB of RAM, whereas the MacBook only has 8. Now Final Cut Pro obviously is an Apple made software. Now this means that the software does utilize every aspect of the hardware itself, making the MacBook very capable when editing 4K video. Now for some reason Final Cut Pro did not allow me to include the timestamp. I do have it in a separate video that you can go and click on in the top right hand side of this video. But in short, the iMac with 5K Retina display did win, but not by quite a considerable margin, especially when compared to the MacBook. Now I had heard various reports saying that the new MacBook had been overheating for many users, so I decided to test this for myself. Now what I did was render a 30-minute 4K file and of course then check the temperature on the MacBook itself to see if it had risen significantly. Now as you can see from the video on screen, the MacBook itself only got to around 35 degrees Celsius. Now compare it to the actual desk itself. The desk itself was around a temperature of around 25 degrees, so that means it gained around 10 degrees, which, trust me, it's not really hot. It's like a plate of hot food, if that makes sense. Now if you haven't worked it out already, the MacBook itself is not really much of a powerhouse, especially when compared to more desktop based computers. Now a way around this is to use something like VNC. Now VNC will allow you to connect up to another machine. Now as you can see here on the MacBook, I have it connected up to the more superior iMac. Now it does allow me access to all the files held on the iMac itself while also using the raw compute power found on this desktop machine. So if you have a more powerful desktop machine, maybe at home or maybe in your office somewhere else, using the MacBook to remotely connect up to that machine and use its files as well as its raw compute power may be a win-win situation. Now the external design of this MacBook has stayed relatively the same as when compared to last year's model, the only differences being the new rose gold color option. Now this of course also means that you will also get one single USB Type-C port. Now this port is going to be used to charge the MacBook itself, as well as send data to and from the machine. Now, of course, if you want to connect up your existing products that you have, you are going to need some sort of adapter. Now, Apple retail a single USB Type-C to normal USB for around £15. Now, there are cheaper alternatives out there, such as the ones that I have linked in the description section down below. So let me give you this scenario. You've got your iPod Touch and you want to sync it up to your brand new MacBook. Now, you can go out there and purchase a Lightning to USB cable from Apple for around £25, or you could use a £15 adapter from Apple and connect up the Lightning cable which you already have to the MacBook to sync it up. So now everything's great. You've got your adapter plugged in, you've got your Lightning port connected, and then you go ahead and sync your iPod Touch to the MacBook. Now, the only problem that you have now is, what if you want to charge the MacBook up now? You've got no ports. Now, Apple also have you covered here, like I said, with another one. Now, with this adapter, you can plug it into your MacBook while also having the power source being connected to the adapter itself. Now, also to the adapter, you can plug in your Lightning cable. So this means you can charge your MacBook up and sync your iPod at the same time. Now, there is also a HDMI output. Now, the hinge design on this MacBook does allow for the MacBook itself to be opened fairly easily with one hand. Now, when you open up the MacBook, you are greeted to a gorgeous 12-inch diagonal retina display. Now, it has a resolution of 2304 by 1440, which gives it 226 pixels per inch. Now, the keyboard itself has the exact same butterfly key mechanism found in last year's model. Now, this means that the keys themselves, when pressed, have very little to no travel. Now, this of course has allowed Apple to keep the design of this new MacBook very slim. Now, another way that Apple reduced the thickness of this MacBook is by using a Force Touch trackpad. Now, this trackpad of course has the normal gestures that you can use to swipe in and out for notifications and other things, but also this trackpad can measure the amount of force that you input into the trackpad itself. Now, this is of course used mainly in applications such as QuickTime, where you can hard press on the forward and rewind buttons to essentially skip it a little faster or slower, as you are seeing on screen right now. Now, an area in this MacBook that Apple haven't really improved, especially since last year, is in the camera department. Now, the FaceTime camera that you get in this MacBook is exactly the same, which only shoots at 480p. You heard it, 480p. Now, as you can see on screen, there is some sort of motion blur, I would say, where if you're moving around, you can still see a little bit of a frame rate from beforehand. So yeah, but the camera is of course very good for checking yourself out, if you know what I mean. Now, if there is one area that Apple have improved over the previous generation, is definitely with the battery life of the device itself. Now, with the improvement in the Skylake efficiency when compared to last year's processors, has yielded Apple around a 1 hour gain when compared to last year's model. Now, after watching a couple of episodes of The Flash and Arrow and filming this entire review, the battery life is still over 5 hours. So guys, that concludes it for this review. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to stay up to date when I upload my next video. Hint hint, I will be doing a comparison between this MacBook as well as the iPad Pro, both the 12.9 inch and the 9.7 inch variants. Now, on the left hand side I do have my iPhone SE review video, which obviously you can go check that out by clicking on the annotation or on the card above in the top right hand corner. And to the right hand side you will find my MacBook unboxing. Guys, follow me over on Twitter at superduperguy or add me up on Snapchat, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching and have a good one.